Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Dive in headfirst because we ain't scared, and I hope you guys are ready for what I'm sure will be an emotionally charged edition of DSR2. So, without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2, and we had a lot of plans to run there. I think it got thrown out the window here today on with the events that are going on the last 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my goodness!
So we got lots here to talk about here. We'll get into that as well on this Wednesday here in the deep. It is hot and steamy here, but again, if you're down south there, especially on that Texas-Louisiana border, hopefully you're out of Dodge, man. Do not take this seriously. Do take this seriously. Get out of there because Hurricane Laura is going to fuck everything.
Dude, it can 2020 just end. I was talking to somebody else. It's totally unrelated to anything that's going on. And it was, there's a meteor going to hit the earth. And it's like, and you read it, and it's less than 1% chance. And I'm like thinking, well, it's 2020, so that means it's going to hit my fucking house.
Yeah,
because that's the kind of year it's fucking been.
It's the size of a refrigerator,
and it's unfucking believable. And guess what? You know, as much as things could be crazy and nutty, this is the world we live in right now. And the meteor aside, I kind of almost hope it could just. Can the meteor select who it goes after? Can we have an intelligent meteor that just pinpoints levels of ignorance and just takes them out like laser beams?
Unfortunately, it's not going to take out the ignorant ones. It'll take out
it'll take out the only people trying to make things right.
There.
Oh my goodness.
So we were going to talk a lot about the NBA playoffs because it's been pretty good out there.
Oh my gosh! If you're not entertained by what you're seeing on the court, then I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. It's been outstanding. Same thing on the ice. Very, very good stuff.
On there, yeah. And Luka Doncic is a bad white boy.
Dude, he is the baddest white boy in the league. He is the Woody Harrelson of the NBA.
I've hustled players better than you.
Yeah.
And it only could have happened to someone nicer as Reggie Jackson guarded. Like, dude, what the hell? Quietly, why is he on him? Why did you switch off? Why?
What are we doing?
Holy shit.
Well, he had, you would have thought that Reggie was on the ice rink in the NHL with the way he was trying to slip and slide and backpedal. He was all over the place. The only thing missing, they're pumping in the fake nose. They could have put some cartoon with his legs because he was just getting. It was.
I got told by a coworker, I don't care for Luka Doncic or Porzingis. I'm like,
what?
How can you not like them? Because they're arrogant or whatever on there. I'm like, dude, they're good.
Arrogant.
How can you not like him? Dude, again, you got a 7-footer that shoots from everywhere, and you got Luka Doncic, who's not even just turned 21, is basically ungodly good.
How many interviews and or interactions have you had with them to form the opinion that they're arrogant? Because if they're excited and pumped up and being all woofy woo on the court, that's part of the adrenaline factor of being able to perform at a high level. It's part of the mind game. It's part of everything that goes into what you're doing. If you don't understand that that's part of sport, then you obviously don't have that competitive drive, that understanding, and maybe sports isn't your thing. But to me, I don't see any displays of arrogance. Now, if you move forward and you look at like their personal persona and you follow them on Twitter maybe, or they do a ton of interviews or they're kind of all over the thing, then you can see their arrogance,
Well,
right?
he doesn't like the Euro players.
Well, that's like racist.
Yeah, well, he
I
is
mean,
racist.
seriously, it's like you're prejudiced against the guy because he came from Europe. Like, isn't that racist?
I like the fact that this is like, holy crap, these guys. Luka Doncic is so damn good. I mean,
I don't care.
His basketball IQ is off the charts.
Right.
His skill set is ungodly good. He's not even the best shooter, but dude, he can hit threes like nothing to it. Like 30-footer, boom.
Right.
Buzzers going down. It's overtime, no problem. Boom.
All right. Well, and that's my
43, 17, and like 13. Come on,
and that's kind of my whole thing. Like I just
on a bum ankle.
I don't care where they come from, right? Like I don't even want, I don't care where they come from. I want to see great.
I want to see greatness on there.
Yeah, and you're getting greatness. Like he's like a Larry Bird Magic hybrid.
Yes.
And you're talking about two of the greatest players ever, and you're going to have a generation of this kid's 21 years old. He's younger than my daughters.
Dude, the league should be building around him.
Oh, they will. Oh, they will. Don't you worry, because he's got a pretty face too. He's not an ugly man.
Right.
He's not Doncic or whatever.
Oh God. Yeah, he's not.
He doesn't look Cro-Magnon or anything. He's so like they can market the shit out of this guy. Let's be real. So yeah, they're gonna market him. So I just whatever. If you're not entertained by what you've gotten thus far, and we'll get into what's going on. We'll get into the elephant in the room, guys. Come on. Don't think we won't. Text line is open, and you can get in on it right away. 313-307-5340. We would love to hear from you. But Moose, what's going on the court and on the ice has been absolutely entertaining.
Right.
And if you're not entertained by what's going on and you don't like somebody, these Euro players, it doesn't make any sense, dude. You're like Don Cherry or something.
Yeah.
You don't like the Euro player. I don't understand.
There's a next generation that's all coming up to all these kids that are 20 to 25 years old. I mean, there's some great players out there, and it's something where I'm excited the future of the league in it.
Yeah.
And again, yes, we know what's going on there. And again, it really is a thing started we're going to talk about too, is like here locally, it seemed to be a galvanizing point with our own Detroit Lions, who said, we're not going to practice, and the players it all came out organically and said and I think it got the dialogue rolling within the locker room, and it kind of brought them all together. And it says, listen, we got your backs no matter what. I mean, the way Steve came out there and spoke and everything with it. And I think this is the point where, too, is these players saying enough's enough.
Well, okay, now we're shifting from off the field to, from the field and court to off, because that's dominate the headlines. That's what's going on, guys. We're definitely going to get into this. And, I love I wish we did this show a little bit more often sometimes, just in the fact we could have been able to have been talking about the games and the 50-plus nights and all these things. And now things are starting to come back to level. Who's going to win and go, we're going to have all this stuff. And, unfortunately, I don't think those conversations are going to be picked back up time soon. And that's where it's going to really,
unfortunately,
it's going to be hard. So we're this is going to be an interesting go. So hopefully you guys are ready for this conversation. But it's going to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations need to happen 100, 200 years ago that haven't. And so if they can make a point, if they can and bring light to something in any way, I still feel there's got to be more, but of how this domino kind of effect is fallen, right? Like here locally, I feel like that's where it started. Like you said, the Detroit Lions of all fucking teams started something and didn't hesitate.
No,
I mean they didn't worry about what other people were going to think, and like you said, Matt Stafford was and guys, when I get hung up there like that, and when I start something, this is an emotional thing for me. I got to kind of think through my thoughts and say things clearly. I will explain my stance on that here after I start talking a little bit, because I don't want to be. Anyway, I like that Stafford came out and said this is like definitive. That this is the most prominent he's had as a Lion, regardless of the accolades and his personal records and things like that, or whatever, any success they may have had, which has been limited here, as the fans know, when we get into the silliness of a sports talk show. But when you talk about real life and living out your dream and realizing that that's the having that ability about your dream doesn't really mean a whole lot, and other people are prevented from theirs in such a way that it's thematic. And so and to stand up for something like that and to put your money where your mouth is, right? You're affecting the bottom line, and you're marketing when you have all these millions of dollars that you have at stake. And I ask people out there, that once again, the text line's available to you. If you had millions of dollars available to you, would you be willing to let that go for a movement that doesn't directly involve you? Because if you understand that's what a lot of people are doing, and people that are 100% directly affected. So you have a movement on your hands that you really need to understand. It's not just these certain sect of people that are angry or feel victimized. There's other people that are progressive and understand what's going on, of all ethnicities and socioeconomic backgrounds, that are saying this is enough and are willing to put their livelihood on the line, even though they're not necessarily a victim of what needs to be changed. And that is a movement that I don't know you're ready to fight against. And if you're going to go on that hill to die, understand it is going to be a slow, brutal death, because that is where we'll be. You're on the wrong side of this if it's where you think you're going to go with this. And same thing, if you want to hit us up on the text line, if your response to what is going on, because you have to understand, this is super simple, right? If, in case you haven't heard, or maybe you're not clear on some facts, I will put this in super easy layman's terms and put it all out there for you and break the bubble. You have an African American man, regardless of his, his criminal situation, fleeing from police in a non-threatening way, running away, and was gowned in the back, shot, and lucky he's alive. And it was all caught on camera, and it's a brutal watch. I suggest you don't watch it if you can avoid it, because it'll ruin your fucking day. And then in the very same state, less than 24 hours later, a white man with an assault rifle murders 2 people, injures another, and goes home after walking by the police and doing everything. I do believe he even barrel on the glass, hey, what's going on? Arrest me. He did everything. The cops know. People are screaming that this guy and this white man was able to just walk away, and essentially what he turned himself in later. They were going to go get him. But how does an unarmed man gets in the back, African-American police, this white man. So you cannot have those 2 incidents like that happen and not see any more clearly why people are upset. And we are not an incident, and we're not even talking about an isolated year. We're not even talking about an isolated political season. We're not even talking about an isolated century, really. You're talking about 400 years of oppression and 200 years in this country of asking for equal and not getting it. And now you're getting systematically, murdered, and all being things that have been told to us for generations have been happening are now being televised for everybody to see, because you have the internet and cell phones, smartphones, and now all that shit that you denied was happening is right here for you to see. And I understand it's very hard to absorb and accept what's going on, but understand that your eyes do not deceive you. It is very much happening, and it has been going on. And if your response to people standing up who have a position of power, as far as their voice being heard, and they have them financial backing so that they can do some things, and noise for a movement that is 200 years overdue. And your response to them doing that is, I'm not going to watch sport that you supposedly love anymore. If is your response to what they are doing, you are a despicable sack of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your response to what's going on here, then if you don't even want to have the conversation, the hard, hurtful, painful conversations that are going to need to be had to have an actual fucking change in this country, and this is a sizable shift. Dude, this is things that you thought that no one ever imagined would happen in this country. This is the greatest country in the world, and this is like third world country problems. No, this is world country problems. And this is what we're dealing with right here, right now. You're living in a time that is very unprecedented, not just from a pandemic situation. That's just the sprinkles on the ice cream topping.
And again, I'm going to interject that. Unfortunately, it's not alone. And it's not even once in a life. It's basically a generational thing. Because the previous generation, 50 years ago, they went through the same thing with the civil rights.
Well, that's because they don't learn.
And it doesn't learn.
If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat
and unfortunately, things got pushed into the shadows so many years, and now it's bringing on. It's okay, basically is, unfortunately, and again, I hate to get political here, but it's with the current administrations under us, they're bringing it's okay to be a racist. It's okay to do this. Well, it's under. So you get the militia groups, and his kid say he was part of one of these ultra right wing militia groups.
Yeah, well,
and he posted stuff like that. And the cops on there, it's a systematic thing. What the cops says is with that, and again, you look on there, and unfortunately, is the current generation of police and everything with it is these youngsters don't have any freaking common sense.
Well, there's a lot to it. There's many layers, like an onion. Hey, Canada Mike, in on the social media. I hope you're doing well up there and staying safe. It's crazy times. We're going to get into sports, although obviously the social justice stuff's going to bleed in here and politics a little bit. But I'm just looking at it a little bit different, Moose, is like politically aside, like the right-wing nutbag, whatever, they're always out there. We always see it. So for me, like that's really not the issue here, as much as you can't fix every individual. It can fix the system, and then individuals conform to the system or they fall to the wayside.
Right.
And that's what we do here. That's what's happening now. They're conforming to the system or they're falling by the wayside. The system's fucked. So the African American and other people of color they're a victim of the system now.
Right.
So they're the ones that are going by the wayside, and it shouldn't be.
No.
And it's wrong. That's kind of my point. The individual wackos are always going to be there. The Columbiners. It's never ever changed because of political affiliation in the current administration. It hasn't. It just hasn't. Now, are people emboldened by other people in power more now than ever before? I believe that.
Oh, yeah,
I absolutely believe that.
That's where I'm coming at.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. So I'm not on that take. But I think when you start having that conversation, then you start not. And I'm not saying you're veering off the tracks, but you're going to other people off the rails. Whether you know what I'm saying, because that becomes a political conversation, and people would die by their political standing. They would rather be right and the whole world burn around them than to be wrong about that. So to have that conversation, you can't take that
scenario.
Right. You can't even go down that thing because they're going to go off the rail. So you're going to go down this path. They're going and they're just going to go off the fucking rails. So you can. So the whole thing with him being a right wing, this and that and the other, an extremist and whatever. To me, that can't be part of this conversation. It has to be about the fact the system allowed this man of this color and this ethnicity to get away with this crazy crime in front of everybody in the public and something that you see in a movie and walk away. And then this man, who, regardless of how he acted or what his criminal history was running away and was not a threat and was gunned down without hesitation. And the only difference between these two men was color of their skin, and a guy that had the different color skin than us, the guy that had the dark colored skin, he was unarmed and running away. The other guy, the white guy, the guy with arson, the creators of the system, so to speak, he walked away. He had a weapon. He walked and he murdered people. He actually did something to society. He killed people. This is, and it happened in the same state, with the same police force, with the same training, in the same 24-hour time period.
Right.
You cannot lay down any more of an example of a systematic, absolutely fucking, it's fucked. There's no good way to sugarcoat it. There's no nice words you can say. Fuck isn't strong enough. This is it. This is the prime example. And it all happened for everybody to see right there, that quick. Bam, bam. This shit is so out of control. And if your response to athletes or musicians or anybody of any kind of, that has any kind of voice, stands up against this kind of systematic fucked up shit, in your I'm not going to watch. I'm going to boycott it. If that's your answer, then we can't have a conversation. If you start talking about political affiliation, that's where they go, well, I can't. You can't have that conversation. It needs to be about what we can do to fix the system. Talked about it. You know, everybody freaks out about defunding the police, but police doesn't work, and it's not unfunding the police, and you don't refund police because they're not a fucking tin can. So what do you call it? So you call it defunding, but it's really it's more like reform. Cats need money to be trained. They need money for mental health. These cats need money for training, and these cats don't need money for tanks and guns and all this other crazy shit. They need to be, and there needs to be a system within the system that nobody bleeds through the system. Would you allow a doctor to get his PhD when he's doing crazy shit? It's the same thing with a police officer. If he's doing all this crazy shit, he should not be able to be in that kind of power and have that kind of control. And there's got to be a checks and balances to make sure that just like the doctor doesn't get a God complex.
Right. I mean,
and so we don't put that time, money, and research into that. That's systematic change. We can blow. I don't know that stop a bunch of games and saying we're not playing because it do anything, because you have all these cats. Now, I'll never forget. Oh, this shit breaks down on my birthday. And I'll never forget because I was raised by a black man. Okay? Let me just put it out there for you. I was raised by a black man. Half my family is African American. I'm pasty white as motherfuck, but I was by a black man who moved from Mississippi to Kentucky to fucking Detroit as a young man in 65 or 66, 68 during the riots.
Okay.
Yeah. So come on. I've heard all the crazy shit. I remember what people said. My fucking parents, and they weren't afraid to say when I was fucking standing there. So people are emboldened. It's no different now than what it's ever been.
It's always the same.
You just now can see it all. Everything is available to you out there. You cannot put your fucking head in the sand anymore.
No.
You can't.
I think that's the best analogy is like, you know what, now you got to come out to this. Because again, denying ain't going to honor. It's out there to see on there. And again, I'm going to salute these players for doing it. I mean, again, Milwaukee, the Bucks only had one way to go. We're not playing.
All of them. Anybody in the area. Detroit started it. Hey, dude, what's going on? We can't do it.
And again, as much as we grip about Stafford and everything with it, I like how he stood up in it. But even Matt Patricia, who said, I got their backs. Dude, I support them 100%. Well, and then, again, we rip on him all the time because he's a terrible coach. Yeah, but you got to respect
these are two different things.
Again, you respect the individual on there, even though he's a terrible coach. Right. But I do it. And again, this is a galvanizing moment in our country. We're in the edge of the abyss. Yep. Hey, we're going to either go down that hole or we're going to back up and fix this damn thing once and for all, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of those things where a revolution has an uprise. So if you think that this is going to change just because of these games, it isn't going to happen. But this could be the domino that knocks it fucking down. And there can be an uprising in this country. And, dude, it could be something crazy. It already is. I mean, look at the police forces and the military force presence. The feds are sending in military states that don't even want it.
Right.
Over protesting. Like, all the stuff that's gone around you guys, pull your foot out of your ass. Like, it is here. It's happening right now, right around you. And just because it didn't happen in your town doesn't mean it didn't. It's not happening all across this country.
Right.
And dude, when in your life, or have you seen anything like this? I mean, it's so overdue. This is not like you woke up, dude. I'm so done with people that are mad about this, but are the same fucking cat that took their AK-47s to the Capitol building because they couldn't go on their fucking boat.
Right.
Like, I'm fucking done. Like, you can kiss my fucking ass. You are upset because they are protesting over 400 years of oppression, and everybody telling them to sit down and shut up, or, shut up and dribble, or whatever.
Get back to the back of the bus again?
Yeah. All this shit. And you lost your mind when you couldn't go out on your boat for a week. For a week, you couldn't go out on your fucking boat before you fucking freaked the mayor out. And,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
And again, too,
I'm done with that.
And the cops have body cams because they don't have. Again, why? Again, a police department everyone should be up with body cams. I mean, we've had some incidences here in Detroit where the cops fatally shot in there. And again, unfortunately, our chief of police got ahead of the game. Listen, here's the body cam footage.
Right.
Plain and simple. Here it is.
Yep. And that's how you do it, right? Because if you're going to be critical, if everybody's going to be critical of the cops, then you want the goddamn camera.
Want basically, here it is.
Here it is, dude. Here, fuck, I didn't do anything wrong. It's on video.
This is legit.
This
is a justified charge. We're basically
it's
on
to
there.
protect your ass too.
Right. And that's what I think is, again, I think at least our chief of police is getting ahead of the game a lot of this stuff. It's like, listen, we're not going to play this. We're not going to wait for innuendos and misassumption to run rampant, because it does run rampant on there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Got to get ahead of the game. And I think that's where you're going to start. It's like, you know what, maybe whoever it is, let's say, federal mandate. Instead of buying a tank, saying, hey, we're going to get these guys body cams.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, so you can
can't shut it off. It's on. Boom.
You can take these, you can take these $3 million tanks that you got. That you don't need.
And get some GoPros for the guys.
And a bunch of GoPros. If you budget the money right, like you can get them counseling and therapy so they can deal with their.
Why is it
because a job and you make you lose your fucking mind?
This is the police who can have one of the more obviously one of the most stressful jobs out there.
Right.
With it, they don't get the counseling with, but there's no con ed for these.
No.
Dude, I have to go to do 40 hours or 28. I go through like 40 hours of cut every 4 years. It's like, I have to go through this. A cop should be able to have to do like 100 hours every freaking year.
Well, and there should be like regular like mental evaluations and just all kinds of different things that you can do. These batteries of tests that you can do, and it's about their welfare, to their well-being as well.
Because they have the most stressful job, and they see the worst on a daily basis.
We're not
daily basis.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Absolutely. I mean, we're not getting on the guy because the majority of these guys have do a great job, and they're under super stressful situations, especially nowadays and that.
But this is the problem. And this is the huge problem I have, is that there is so much of a heavy bias and so much a heavy looking the other way that I cannot say that the majority of cops are good cops. I can't. I'll never, ever be able to say that because it's never been in my experience. Now, do I know good cops out there? Yes, absolutely. Do I know that job is this nastiest job in the world? Yes, absolutely. Do I advocate for them to have proper tools and all that and everything? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. But that's the problem. That's what we're talking about here. It's systematically fucked up. The tools aren't in place so where you don't have these cats. There is no way that if you show any kind of racial bias in any form, shape, or form, should you ever get anywhere fucking badge.
No.
Ever. Not even as a fucking rent-a-cop. So, in fact, I implore corporate businesses to do the same thing. Because having bias in corporate business can be very detrimental from a liability standpoint. Right. I mean, ask your current president when he was in the private sector and he was in real estate development and he had to go bankrupt because he was fucking sued for, the equal housing problems that he was having. Like, that shit's real. So if they got to fucking do it, they should do it too. So, like, for me, the whole system all the way across the board, it's just, they have no choice but to focus on the police because you can get murdered by the cops every time you fucking leave your house. Right. That is a real possibility that they live with. And so they have to deal with that. But to be honest, that's the tip of the fucking iceberg. We're talking about jobs. We're talking about education. We're talking about fair fucking housing. All shit that's systematically against them.
Yes.
And if you any of that shit, dude, your face is in the sand, your head's in the sand. Pull it out. Pay attention. Be part of the problem or part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Right.
Understand that. You know, everybody gets mad because I don't understand the whole, why you can't get white privilege and why you get mad about white privilege. It doesn't say anything about you, human being. I have this face. I was born with it. And just like I was born with this ugly fucking mug, I was born with what is known as white privilege. I get to be the AK carrying motherfucker doesn't get fucked with. My buddy fucking Dewan, he's not so lucky.
No.
He can be buttoned up, which he is. He's a buttoned up guy, dresses real nice, real sophisticated, got a good job. That motherfucker has every day that he could get shot and killed by the fucking cops.
And I think they talked to, like, here locally.
That system is wrong. It's got to be fixed.
Taylor Dicker, the Lions offensive left tackle there, basically he's talking about his teammate Roman Okora, and he says he became the league on there. He was working back, and he goes, I didn't know. And Roman goes, hey, he goes, I have to work that because I drive 20 miles to practice and that.
Right.
The driver's license is different than the registration of my car.
Right.
I have to worry about this stuff on a daily basis.
Yep.
Because I got to call my mom every time when I get home.
Yep.
I made it home okay.
And it doesn't say that I didn't work harder, that my life didn't.
No,
suck,
I mean he worked his ass off because he's playing in the NFL.
But I guess my point is the white privilege. Back to my point about the white privilege.
The white guy don't have to worry. Oh, I'll get on the cop to pull him over. But the black guy, as soon as he starts seeing different license and a registration, different states and that, different address. Right. What's this all?
But once again, getting away from my point. Point is, why have white privilege? Do not be upset that you have white privilege. I have white privilege. I am not upset. I did not create the system. I am stuck in the motherfucker, and I want to fit too. So this is the whole thing. Oh, well, I don't have any white privilege because I wasn't handed anything. Well, no one said that. White privilege has nothing to do with how hard you work. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with how hard your life was or the adversity you had to get through to get where you are. It just means you didn't have to deal with the things that they had to fuck with. Imagine having all of those problems that you had a horrible life and it was hard and you didn't have this and you were on state aid and you came out of the ghetto and you had all that. Imagine that. And on top of it all, the system was against you in the way that it is. You have to worry about whether you're going to be murdered by the people that are paid to fucking protect you by the taxes that you work for. So, and you have to think about those things on that kind of level. But that's what white privilege is. And if you're upset about that and can't have that conversation and understand what that is, then this whole thing is never going to get fixed. And, am I supposed to feel guilty? No. Why do you feel guilty? Guilt is an emotion that you're creating for yourself. Once again, did you create this system? If you create the system and you're working to change it, then you have nothing to feel guilty about. But if you're status quo and you're fighting to keep it the way it is, then you should feel guilty, you fucktard, because it shouldn't stay the way it is. So don't feel white guilt this and white guilt that. No such thing. The only reason you should feel guilty is because you don't have the fucking balls to say that this shit needs to change and then stand up for it. That should be the only problem, no matter what color you are, but especially if you're the one that is enjoying the privilege. And if you can't get your mind around it, I don't know what to tell you. It's a you problem. It really is.
Right.
They have people you can talk to. I'm not qualified. I ain't smart enough for that. But I'm not too fucking dumb to know what's going on around me. So, and now the mad athletes because they make a stand. This is the first time I've been proud of these idiots in a while. They always do dumb shit. Right. How many times are we doing this show and we're talking about guys beating their wives, or getting popped for drugs and guns and all shit? When there's shit off the field, we're talking about that. You only half-ass get up in arms. You get up in arms about that and be upset about that.
The bitch said for years these guys not taking a stand for anything.
Right.
Not keeping quiet.
They got no morals. And now all of a sudden they're fucking showing you what their morals are. Right. And you're fucking mad at them?
Right.
Come on, man.
Then they try to bring up, you didn't stand up for China. I'm like, come on, man.
Come on, man. I mean, just, come on. Is that the hill you want to die on?
Yeah.
I mean, that shit's crazy to me. So, it's going to be, dude, guess what? Sports, done. Forget it.
Right.
Forget it. Forget it.
Right. Don't watch a sport. Don't watch it because you.
No, there's none to watch.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, there's none to fucking watch. There isn't
No.
gonna be. There isn't gonna be. They're not coming back. I'm telling you right now. You're not gonna see another fucking MLB. You're not gonna see another NBA. And I'm fucking telling you, the L's gonna follow suit.
Oh yeah.
So guess what? Your sports are gone.
Right. Stay home. Read Reader's Digest.
I mean, you're done. They're done. They're not coming back. I'm telling you right now. You know how I knew that these games weren't going to happen? Because at about 3:30, I went on my preview guide to set up my reminder to turn on game TNT, and in them for the game, they had what movie was it? It was a movie, and I'm like, God. So they already knew that game wasn't being played. So don't get it fucking twisted, homie. They got all the shit, and it's going down, whether you like it or not. Ted Turner didn't fucking change my preview and put in like fucking Wonder Woman fucking shit. I can't remember what movie it was. The game was supposed to start at 4:30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from 4 to 6 they had a movie scheduled there. And then after that they had the other two games right underneath it. And I'm like, because the next game was going to be at 7.
It was Oklahoma City, Houston.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, a triple header tonight. What happened? Is it a COVID thing? But I knew what happened because I heard about the they've been talking about the Lions thing and the new video and all that. So in my mind, I already knew
that the Bucs are talking about
that was already happening. Yeah. So they've been talking about it. Don't act like that's why they didn't make them the game.
Right.
That's why the NBA stood in unison. This is something that after that shit went down, it was like all hands on deck. Once that video came out, everybody lost their collective in disgust and got together, and this is what the result had.
And they're all staying unified.
Absolutely, and as they should. And you don't, if you can't get with that, if you don't understand it, once again, we get to a you problem.
Right.
Because it's pretty simple, man. Like, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what socioeconomic background you come from. I don't care what your ethnicities. I don't care what country you were raised with, traditions. Everybody has a certain standard, what they want in their life or what feel they deserve or what they should have the right to have and be and all that. And it's not being equally distributed here, and it's going to go down. If you can't get with it, you can't understand how it is, then sometimes it's one of those situations where if you don't get on the train, you get run over by it. It feels like this train might have some steam. I don't know. We'd have some steam going on before. It kind of sputters out, and we get these more incidents that flare it right back up. And I think, when is the straw that broke the camel's back? When are they going to, break wide? Because it's not just... this isn't like I said, you could stop all sports because they're not coming back, guys. I'm telling you right now. This is a thing. They're doing this. They're all in on this. And they're doing it because they're the only ones that have a voice right now. Nobody in Hollywood is saying a thing. They're keeping their mouths shut because they got their own dirty little secrets they don't want out.
Right.
And they're like, well, we're not, we don't have anything in production anyway, so we got nothing to talk about. We can't put movies out. There's no new shows. We're just hiding out, laying low. And so you're getting nothing to the biggest, loudest, most noticeable voice. The only thing popping right now are your athletes. There's no concerts. That's it. So it's your athletes and it's your politicians. And guess what? Now it's a one versus the other.
Yeah.
Because your politicians are attacking your athletes, and your athletes are attacking the politicians in turn in social media, in regular media, in print, on the radio. Every chance they get, it's shots fired back and forth. And so this is it. You're going to see the culmination of this stuff. And I don't know. I don't know where you stop, where this ends, where the end game is. I don't know how far you take this, but it feels to me like you're going to have something even crazier yet to happen. This is not them just saying we're not playing, we're just, we're canceling games for the rest of the week or whatever through the weekend. We're postponing or whatever. That's not gonna change anything if they just come back and play. So there's no way they're coming back and playing. And then what is the next move? are we going to start seeing all these? Guess what could happen when you unleash thousands of millionaires?
Yeah.
With the resources and the money and the desire to make change.
Happens.
What change might actually happen. So I hope that they do it. I hope that they're successful, and this thing, actually means something. Because God damn it, if we're going to lose all our sports, and we're going to lose all our entertainment, and we're going to lose all these things, it needs to be for something. It needs to be for something. This can't be for nothing. And it's like, it's kind of superficial to sports on that level, because who really cares? It means nothing in the scheme of things, and certainly means nothing when you're talking about stuff here. But if we're going to make these drastic stances and do, we need to follow through. Like, standing up and having a tantrum isn't enough. Not enough. It's got to be follow action. So I really hope that things happen, and I'd love to, on some of this, in any way that I can support any kind of, movement. So I just try to stay positive and tell it how it is, and be honest, and hope that some people might absorb and take that on to the next. But like, that is the very least that you can do in this moment, and people aren't doing that. So it's going to be a weird battle of back and forth, but yeah, I just don't see how these sports can go back to playing. What's taking a game or two off? What's that do?
It doesn't prove
it doesn't really do anything. It shows.
I think,
shows their unity and their stance, but I think we kind of understand that.
Right.
But is that enough? Is that enough for people to go, oh, okay, well, oh no, now I get it.
No, it's
the
light bulbs are not going off yet. But again, if they know it on for the year, we're shutting it down, then that might be, holy crap, they are. And then basically they need vocal and voiced out besides now is continuing to get this going.
What I would do if I were the league, I would buy out our TV contracts and use all that TV time for social injustice, like putting specials together. These guys say what they need to say, do things that purely for that. I'm just saying, like, you can deal with these TV, and you're going to get calling television. People are going to fucking watch it. They're going to get the ratings. So now how we change it up? We ain't fucking playing basketball.
But here's what we're going to,
We're going to do, and we're going to say things, and we're going to get into stuff. And hey, Richie, Juan, Mike, thanks for hanging out with us. Feel free to get in on the conversation. Social
get
media,
out there in the public there.
But yeah, I mean, why not use that? Because I mean, why not? Like, it's like almost using so you have. Right now, it's a perfect example because we're in the middle of the election season, but politics, right? So our current administration, they have press conferences over the COVID and community health situation, and it turns into basically just propaganda, right? We're right in the middle of the RNC. We had the DNC. I mean, that's what they're doing now. They're just buying TV time and spending this tell their side of their bullshit and system and their rhetoric and their whatever. Why not? And that's the system, right? That's the symbol of the system, correct? I mean, that is what we're trying to change. So why wouldn't you not use that same technique against them, right? And now we will take this time, and instead of just shutting up and dribbling and entertaining you for 3 hours, we're going to educate you for 3 hours.
You're going to get there and march with everybody else, the masses.
You know what I'm saying? And we'll show that on TV.
Yeah.
And we're going to have these interactions.
I mean, go back.
And we're going to talk about these changes, and we're going to force these people to talk about, and we're not only going to force them to talk about it, but we're going to put them on the spot. We're going to put this in a public light, and you're going to have to watch it, and everybody's going to have to see it, and the revolution will be televised.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, is this not what this is for? Is this not? You guys go on and on and on about the flag in this country and how great it is. Is this not what the antithesis of the entire United States is supposed to be about? Standing up against tyranny and making the system right when it was wrong. Isn't that why we broke away first fucking place and became independent? I mean, isn't that the sole understanding? Isn't that the thing? And you talk about the flag in this country, how much all this symbolism and what this stuff means and stuff, but then when it's truly here in front of you, you're like, oh no, it doesn't act.
It's in the blood.
I mean, that's disgusting.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit is for all men and women.
Well, it's got to be equal, right?
Right.
You know, and it's just a pursuit. Nobody's guaranteed happiness.
They just want
this. They just want the
an
opportunity.
opportunity.
And that was like my whole take earlier when I talked about white privilege. You have to understand that your idea of privilege is having shit handed to you, and people of color's idea of privilege is, you know, being able to, I don't know, not get shot going to the grocery store by the police, actually getting that job that they're
driving
that
to
they're
and from work
qualified
through certain municipalities and not getting pulled over.
Right. You know, getting that job because they're qualified, getting that house because they are qualified and they didn't, you know, and the skin doesn't. They just want that equal opportunity. Like, they don't expect to be handed shit. They just want the same chance to earn it as you get. And you have that chance. So, like, you look at it completely wrong. So that's just how that shit goes. So until you got your mind right, you know, it's always going to be a fight. And so it's one of these things where once you go, there's a trigger there. Once you go, like I talk about this administration, or I say the federal government, or I say, that's why I don't ever say the T word, because if you do, they just lose it. They go off. Everybody goes off the rails because it's got to be political, and like I'm trying to tell you, the whole system's messed up, and it's not political. It's bipartisan. The system is a bipartisan fuckstick. It's just you know, it doesn't matter, and just like the virus is bipartisan, it doesn't care. It's still fucked up, and it doesn't matter. So, the fact that you can't, I don't know. I wish there was, to me. Okay. So, when they came back and they talked about they wanted to have this platform to. That's why they wanted to play. The players wanted to have this platform to be able to speak out on social injustices, and now. They can't walk away from that platform. So not playing, understand, but let's not totally walk away from that platform. Let's use that platform, like you said, and you know, we're to play, but we'll educate, and we'll. So I'd really love to see that. I don't know how they do that, but it is going. There's a hand millionaires that are controlling this, and we have tons of millionaires here that can fight against it, and they need to do it. And then we need to fall in line toward it. And it's not about falling in line or anything like that, I guess is a bad way to say it. It's about being on the right side of history and morality and humanity. I mean, goddamn. To me, it's that simple. You know, I'll get roasted for it.
Right.
You know, but the people that roast me and the people that are upset about all that shit and the people that boycott sports because they stand up, dude, you guys are... You're not part of the problem. You're the entire problem. That this is why these things are happening. Because if that's, you know, how you react to these things, then that's that. And I'm ready to have a conversation with anybody at any time about whatever. And you know, I want to try to understand as much as I can. And we talk about it on here, Moose, and I do it all the time. I play devil's advocate even when I don't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. We do it all the time here. So this is not a hypocritical thing for me. I will always try my very best to look at it from the other side. I'm just not always educated. But dude, you know, being raised by a black man and having half my family being African American and living in a cultured society that we live here. I mean, Detroit is a melting pot of every culture you can think of, and that's what I love about it here. That's why I always defend our city and our state. You know, but our country is hurt. Our country's system is broken, and to fix it, and we need to heal the people. And you know, so I don't care what your religion is. That's a basis of it. I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're Catholic or Baptist or whatever. If you have any religious background or faith or morality, that is the backbone of it. And so the hypocrisy is thing. It's on a level that is it's hard to comprehend, and you know, for somebody that a lot. So I think most people that would look at me think, okay, white kid, suburbanite, tattoo, rock and roll, maybe whatever, and not even consider the actual background of me, living in the hood, being from mixed family, and kind of climbing up. And I saw the advantages I got. I didn't know what the terms were. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't really understand why it was happening, but I saw it as a young age. I hear what people would say about my parents when we were in public. Hear what people would say. Things would be, but even as a young adult, I didn't understand it completely or have a grip on it. And even now, I'm 43 years old. I don't understand it. I can only continue to try to understand it more and more and more every day, because I wasn't born into this situation. I have that white privilege that people get so upset about, so I can't. Someone says, "Oh, you can't you can't comment because you are on the topic white." No, I can speak on it, but I have to understand that I don't know. I can speak on it because if I don't speak on it, then my true point of view and my true thoughts can't be good to the others to where they can say, well, and they can educate me. I need to be educated, right? It's like, no, the only dumb is the one that isn't asked. And so questions can't be asked if conversations are had. So that's what I always kind of work for. Always, whatever. And even with my background as far as my life and the things I've dealt with and the things that I've seen, I still do not have a grip on it. And I can look at, and my friends or my family or my nephews or my uncle, my aunts or my pops, and I can look at them and say, and not fully understand and try to grasp it and just trust what I'm hearing and try to figure it out, and rationalize what you don't know. No, just like they couldn't speak on how, Jews felt in during World War I in Germany. Saying like, people can't speak on that because they weren't a part of that. If you're a part of that, then yes, you can speak on as far as the div. How it felt and what it was and what this is about. So until you're a person of color living in this country and all that stuff, you can't fully understand, I don't think. And I think all you can do is empathy. It goes a long way in that form, because I'll never really, it's not that I understand what I'm seeing or what the concept is or what it is. I just don't truly
you can't get the full ramifications.
Yeah, it's just really not embedded into me. Like, I don't have the palpitations and the things and the anxieties that other people would have in those situations. So, as much as you could only try, and the best thing I could do is so that's, like I said, it's not a guilt thing. It's the only reason you should feel guilty is if you're the people that react that way. Right. This is bullshit, and I'm not. You should. If you're not working towards fixing that, then feel guilty. But you shouldn't feel guilty because you're a part of a system that benefits you without you endorsing such benefits. Right? Like that's not what this is. So it's wild, man. If you're in your head and you can't get out of it enough to understand somebody on the other side of the table from you, regardless, I just don't get it. And so if that's the shit you're going to come with in our text line, our social media feeds and stuff, then go right ahead. Do what you got to do. I mean, die on that hill. That hill. Canada Mike, you guys can come here. Less exciting, but and you can't get Sprays or RC Cola. But other than that, it seems less stressful.
RC sucks.
Oh, no, don't say that to Mike. You like RC Cola. So I told him I would have RC Cola, or he says, but I should bring RC Cola and Marlboros. And I'm like, okay.
I can understand the Marlboros.
I don't have to drink the RC Cola, but I don't mind RC Cola. I grew up on it. It was always cheap. Town Club was my favorite in the glass bottles and the wood cases.
Town Club Grape and Black Cherry are truly underrated.
Yes.
Especially as a kid, I'm like, man, that's just a bomb.
And then, of course, Detroit, where we got Faygo, and we grew up on Faygo because that's always the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
And all that. But, I mean, not on somebody for digging the RC Cola, but because people Vernors. And most you go to other place and you drop Vernors and ginger ale on folks, are like, what the fuck, you guys drink shit? And we do. So it's just one of those. It's medicine. Like we take it for everything.
Makes you feel better.
Yeah. So we take it for everything.
My grandmother actually used to have a bottle, like a half-gallon glass bottle of Coke syrup.
Oh, okay.
So when you had an upset stomach, she just pour you a little bit of that. You just do a little shot. Just all it was basically Coke before it got carbonated water.
Yeah,
like it was thick, and I'm like, oh. Oh my God, is that sweet?
But yeah, it's just high.
Help your stomach.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know what? Ain't
Sure,
it?
right.
Love it.
But Werner's is ginger ale, and
Right.
ginger does have medicinal uses.
Yes.
So there's that. But
Werner's is a
anyway,
very intense.
yes. But so I'm not knocking on anybody on that. But I would absolutely. We can't come up there.
Yeah, not the end of September now. So we'll bring RC Cola and some Marlboro. I want some butter tarts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not too far from Toronto, so we could go to there's stuff to do. What's happening? He's more on the sticks, I think, which is nice. That's where I'd like to
Poutine.
be. Yeah. What's that?
Poutine.
I'm not exactly where, but
Yeah, it's like it's like roast beef with cheese curds
Ooh.
on top of French fries with gravy.
Oh, my
God,
goodness.
it's like the best thing ever.
oh, he'll take us. He'll show us. He's the man. He's our new Beer Can Dan. Remember Beer Can Dan used to come all the time on the show and he's the new Beer Can Dan. He's always here.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you, Mike, for sure. And we're not gonna have any sports. Maybe if they do let us across, we'll just come over there.
Come over there.
Yeah, we'll come hang
Pro-
out
I'm
because
again-
now PN is playing
I'm
frisbee
a proud
golf.
of proud Canadian heritage, so
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Oh, see, there you go.
Second generation Woolsey, born in the U.S.
So my grandparents had dual citizenship, so that was kind of neat. So I got to go to Canada.
Okay.
So I would go spend time with them, but no, I don't have those kind of privileges. But beautiful, I love it up there. So I would absolutely call you on that, Mike. So it's gonna happen. But anyway. All right, let me get my win back, and maybe we'll reset, and we'll talk about some of the games.
Actually, let's talk a little bit about the games on the flip side here. We'll get
Yeah.
into that because, again, these games have been stellar. And certain teams should be ashamed of themselves the way they played. I'm talking to you, Brooklyn,
yeah.
Philly.
And what can I say?
Trust the process. This only works if you got a GM that knows what the hell they're doing.
Oh, Philly, that's such a disaster piece.
Also, again, we'll talk about some hockey, their action going on there. Also, baseball as well, too. So we'll give a little shout out to us, basically, if kind of somebody that's integrated to the program on there, but just through my day job on there, he's kind of a friend of that. So we'll talk about that. On the flip side, we are DSR2 Student Sim Radio.
You're linked to Studio 57 Radio, the home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
People, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the entertainment with great, pretty interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you're a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming. Listener can decide what makes it on the air, and now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. As this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for the D-Day and get your old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Market at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren. And the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Allstate, with new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire. your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge service drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
We are taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say infamous, venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know where the Ultimate Underground is going to broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com, or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390, or log to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Got a little bit of different rock for you. I don't know, I just thought I'd change it up on the way back. Here you go. So we'll rock it out. I hope you guys are ready. We're going to talk a little bit more sports. I mean, there was games since last time we were on. They were pretty exciting. We'll talk about that stuff. Baseball's still going. No games on right now? we'll be talking about that. So 307-5340, guys. Social Media 57 Radio across the board. Hang out. Let's get it in. Further ado, we'll get back to this DSR2. I'm Scrappy, and here's Johnny the Moose.
Hey there, back here for the second hour of DSR2. Again, we were very heavy on the first hour there, talking about what's going on, especially in sports and what's going on, especially here in this country, and why the system's broke, and we're trying to we want to get it fixed. So on there. But now we're going to actually talk about some of the games here, especially in the NBA, because some of these games have been off. Some of these individual performances are outstanding out there as well. On there, Donovan Mitchell's had 2 games already with 50 this playoff. He's a bad man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, have you seen this guy?
He might be actually probably the 3rd or 4th best player in the league. Again, next year, he might be the best player in the league right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and he's only 21.
It's amazing. I absolutely love it. That's what you need to see. We need new stars, right? Let's do it. Bring them on. More the merrier.
And Brooklyn, you gave up 100 points to Toronto's bench.
Yes. That was amazing.
You gave up 150, and 100 of it was scored by the bench.
That is amazing.
Dude, what the hell?
Oh, my God. That's absolutely amazing.
So, we're going to blow these guys 150, and you know what? We're going to let the bench do it.
Oh, dude. Like I said, man, in the open, we knew the conversation was kind of go a certain way, and we're going to try to get away from that a little bit in the second hour because we can scream till our faces are purple, but it's kind of hard to keep that rolling. We want to at least salvage some of this episode right here because the social injustice thing is not going to stop. So when we come back next week, it's going to be a conversation, and these games that we're about to talk about now are going to be long gone in the rear view. So let's sit back for the next hour or so, 45 minutes. Let's giggle, let's have a good time, and let's enjoy what we got for that brief moment. Some really, really good sports. Yes. And God damn, Toronto. I so bad now want Toronto and the Clips in the finals. Yes. I'm sorry. All the other shit aside, I want Toronto and the Clips in the finals, and I want to see that bench against the guy that left them to go chase another title with some other. You can't. I'm all about the stories. I'm all about that, and I know. I just went on a diatribe less than an hour ago and said that there's not going to be any more sports back. But we're right here, right now, in the moment. We're going to pretend that somehow, some way, they're going to get back to finishing the season. And these playoffs have just been good. I mean, there's been some blowouts. Let's not get it twisted. But for the most part, there's been more good than bad. And the NBA has done their best NHL impression with some of these lower seed teams really playing well, and it comes down to the camaraderie and whether they can deal with each other and the chemistry and how you're doing mentally and emotionally being in that bubble and away from your family and all that stuff. And it is being shown in how some of these teams are playing positively and negatively. So, but none of that, I think, can save Philly. That is just like that is there. I mean, what do you even say? Like,
well,
they say it's better to have loved and lost and all this other stuff and whatever. You know, this is kind of like one of those things. Like, is it better to like go through the whole system and work all this stuff and get all these top picks and then get to a point where you're supposed to get to a final or this and that and the other and just come up short? I mean, I don't know, dude. That seems like torture.
I hate to breaking news. Dodgers Giants are postponing their game as well tonight.
Dude, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. That's what's going to dictate this goddamn show because no matter what we want to talk about, it's not going to stop, guys. The first domino has fallen. The fact that the Jays are winning and the Tigers are losing, and there's how many games are on right now? So you already have games in progress.
We got one hockey game going on, Tampa and Boston. Tampa's up 3-0, and then we've got baseball wise. Let's see how many games.
So I just don't see how like once these games are done, I don't see how there's any more. I think everybody pulls the trigger. I mean, that's unity across those leagues is kind of unprecedented when it comes to doing something like this. That's
And then the Astros Angels got postponed because there's a hurricane ready to come into Houston.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
So we won't cut that. But
No, you play in a hurricane. Fuck this shit.
It's
Entertain
indoor.
me. Yeah, God.
There's no fans.
Yeah, there's nobody.
Play.
Yeah, entertain me.
It's up the coast. It's in Port Arthur and Lake Charles.
Shut up and dribble. Fucking ignorant. I mean, that's what you're saying, right? It's no different, right?
Yeah.
They're in a fucking hurricane every day of their life. And you tell them, shut up and dribble. Shut up and dribble. Fuck out of here. Sorry.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're going to look out. We'll see what happens tomorrow baseball-wise. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the players, too, are saying, we're not playing tomorrow.
No, I mean, and like I said, I think it's only the tip of the iceberg. It's that first domino that falls, and really quite... frankly, if it's going to mean anything, there's got to be extremes done, right? Like, if anybody, Moose, it's super simple. I can relate it to anybody, right? If you're comfortable, what is there to change?
Right.
Like, you won't even get out of your chair because it's so comfortable, right? But if I put a little like pin in the cushion and you sit on it and get poked in the ass, you're gonna jump because it's uncomfortable. So that's how you get shit done. So there's going to have to be a point in time where this gets uncomfortable.
So, yeah, talk about Philly. They immediately fire their coach. He's gone.
He's a patsy.
The general
He's
manager,
a patsy. It's systematic. The team sucks. Like, it starts from the top. It's the same thing here with the Lions, right? I mean, we can get rid of Quinn Trisha.
How many top 5 picks can you have and still screw it up?
Oh, that's like how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3.
Yeah, well.
1, 2, 3. 3.
And 4 cavities and a crown because you got a busted tooth.
I tell you, again, nothing worse than freaking loose fillings than a freaking Tootsie Pop.
Okay, and you know what's the saddest thing I've fucking heard? Okay, now we're gonna get into this thing because we're not gonna have any sports, and all you got is fucking frisbee golf and cornhole. But Canada Mike has been watching camel racing to get his sports fix.
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, it'd be pretty.
It's hard for me to get into horse racing. Are camels that more exciting?
No.
To watch run?
Well, I mean, it's harder because the guy's on that hump and he could fall off and he's.
So they have camel jockeys.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I just said something racial.
No, they used to do that. They used to do again. There was examples of that 100+ years ago. They used to do that.
So someone sits between the humps and races.
Well, they
camels?
use the single hump ones, not the do hump.
Oh, okay. And they saddle them up because I've seen them with the whole set.
But again, a camel doesn't move as graceful as a horse. They're just kind of like
no. Yeah, it's like
and
having
and they spit
Great Dane
and they're nasty and all sorts of nasty stuff.
It's like having a Great Dane or something. It's just like clunky.
Yeah, but I can imagine that'd be
there's soccer, Mike. You could watch soccer. Like, I know it's not the most exciting, but at least it's not camel.
Well, there's
camel
IndyCar.
But they're mad because they can't have their racist flag.
No, I'm talking IndyCar.
Oh, IndyCar. Yeah,
those are the civilized people.
Gotcha.
Whereas again, the driver on that one and the people bitched about the Indy 500 finishing under the yellow flag on there. Whereas a driver literally T-bones the freaking wall, and he gets away with it, and he lives. How did he live? Jesus, he should be dead.
I know, right?
I mean, these engineers are like ungodly good.
Yeah, no, they do some cool stuff when it comes to the safety stuff now, especially that more.
And again, the NASCAR fans are mad at the racist flag, but not the drivers because they all backed up on there. And again, we got golf, but freaking Dustin Johnson is leading by 11 strokes, and we're going to postpone it because there's lightning. Dude, he's up by 11. He's got 2 holes to go. He's not going to lose this one. Just call it a day and give him the damn trophy.
All right.
30 under par. And they bitched about Detroit. Oh, my God. It's like playing a damn municipal course. It's horrible. Oh, my God. Somebody said, dude, we didn't get 30 under par here.
Right.
He got 30 under par, and it's supposed to be a FedEx playoff course. 30 under.
So are now golfers going to stop golfing? Golfing will probably stay on.
Yeah, because there
Yeah.
there are a couple minorities, but very minimal.
Yeah. Would Tiger have anything to say about that?
Again, there it is. We need Tiger to say
That's
something.
what I'm saying. Like that's
He needs to come out and say
it
something.
can't just stop at
Mr. Robot himself needs to actually
Yep.
show some emotion and say something.
Yeah, I think my whole take on it is it's gotta keep going. It's gotta be more transcendent. I don't care. Like, they've got no sports, and then you turn on bass fishing, and they're like, yeah, we're not fishing, like, and then I feel like it's just gotta be. It's got to be transcendent across.
Bowlers need to step out and say something.
Yeah, I mean everybody. Hijack the television.
Right.
Hijack the airwaves. Everybody in entertainment. Everybody that's doing that.
The revolution will be televised.
I'm telling you, man.
I think I'm gonna have to change my damn theme song to that.
I'm telling you, dude. Think about it. Think about it. If every single platform was monopolized by
Right.
this. And says, "Hey, this is it. This has to happen.
We're done."
Yeah, this is not like we're trying to force you to, change, to a government medical program. This is about like human rights, man.
Right.
This is not. So it's totally different.
So Monday night on there, and I thought, again, wow, Portland's on there. And again, I should have thought there's no way in the hell Portland was going to win Monday. On all days, 824. I should have walked in Vegas or walked downtown or went downtown and said, take $1,000 out of the bank and say, throw it on the Lakers.
Yeah, you could have gone to Greektown. You got the book down there.
I think Monday night, though, it's like you have to bet 800 to win 100.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's one of those things, too, where, Portland...
There's no way.
Portland was only going to go so far, and then on a day like that, it just wasn't going to
Then they
happen.
jumped out to a 24-8 lead.
Whoever would have thought that, when the Kobe incident happened, that, like, the world would just burn after that. Really. Just whoever thought that Kobe was holding the whole goddamn planet together.
What would he have?
Jeez.
But, yeah, again, we got that, and we got the Heat taking care of the Pacers. Pacers done, they fire their coach, Nate McMillan.
There's going to be a lot of that going on.
Dude, again, this is like the third year in a row where you missed the key cog out of your team. You had no Sabonis this year. You had no Oladipo last year. You can't blame them for losing, especially Miami. Miami's a damn good team.
Every head coach in the league is essentially a patsy, unless you've got like a tenure. Because you see coaches that stay like Pop and some of these other cats. But if you haven't like earned yourself a tenure or whatever, you're all patsies after.
You know
that.
who might be again go down probably as the most underrated coach nobody even talks about and anything. Oh, he's just got lucky. Is Eric Spoelstra. He gets. They're not the most talented team again.
No, but you got to understand, like, he's got depth and he's got players, and he brought in Jimmy Butler, and so, like, they're not a bad team. But yeah, he had to kind of. No, he's a little bit underrated. I just don't like his coaching style. I think his clock management's kind of fucked up. But he's not like a bad coach. He does. It's not like he doesn't deserve to be in the NBA as a coach. I just. It's just where his problem is it wasn't that he shouldn't be coaching the Miami Heat. Is at that age with those players, that was one hell of a freaking situation that he probably shouldn't have been in. And part of that is like, okay, dude, every coach in the fucking league wants to come into a super team, and you don't have the experience, and you're not that great of a coach, and you get that as your first job handed to you. So I think there was like all that kind of in play, and he was unproven, and
Right.
And he's proven to be a good coach. He's okay, but he's never going to get you anywhere. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's not. There are worse coaches. If I had him as a transitional coach, I wouldn't be mad at it. You know, if I'm at a team that is kind of on the cusp, and you know, kind of like we were back in the day, and you brought in Larry Brown and he changed it, and you know, Carlisle was a transitional coach, and he did a good job in transitioning us over to you know, what we became. I think he would be more suited for that, personally, than to be like a tenured coach like a Popovich or somebody like that who just spends their whole fucking.
But then again, it's like everybody can get used to whoever, even if they do get back to play and win the championship, you're gonna get that one and you'll be over because Golden State's back next year.
Oh yeah, they got a top pick and
they got a number 2 pick overall,
Yep.
and everybody's coming back healthy.
Yeah, as long as they hit on that pick, then for that, yeah, I mean, yeah, if we get this back to a somewhat normal season next year, it's going to be, or next season, it's going to be something special. It's going to be an interesting, like I said, whatever we get, we have to just, like, and I said it from the get-go, because, dude, we can run the tape back. I didn't think we'd get to the end of these seasons anyway. I figured the NBA and the NHL were the best chances to finish. I was on record saying I didn't think college sports should go or would go. I don't think the NFL is going to go or finish anyway the way they want to. So, or maybe not even start the way they want to. You know, I think it'll be shortened.
North Carolina State's already gotten players, so they moved their game back, whatever. Changed things around.
Dude, I'm totally vindicated on the college thing because every single college that has allowed any kind of students to come back has had a fucking outbreak. Every single one of them. And it's not just here. You saw the CMU shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my boss's kid is in a sorority. And she was there for 3 fucking days before they started getting sick and sent everybody the fuck home. And now she's got the COVID and she's in fucking lockdown, and so is he. Everybody's got a quarantine. So it's, dude, every single So like my boss isn't even at the office anymore for the next 2 weeks, you know, and da-da-da-da-da because of those exact same things. It's happening all over the place.
Notre Dame went basically remote for the next couple weeks on there. North Carolina State or North Carolina Chapel Hill last week said that's it. The whole semester we're doing remote. North Carolina State did later on that same week.
How you gonna play games? You're gonna play football.
Alabama's got 500 students that tested positive because they partied up. Because man, they didn't believe in any of that.
Yeah,
they don't believe in science.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. When the whole world revolves around that one university.
And then you got every clown here whining and bitching and moaning because we're not having football. Dude, and you try to say, dude, nobody's going to have football. They're going to get 2 games in, and they're going to say, shut it down.
Yep. Yeah.
So don't give me this crap. So, and they're all blaming him, like, dude, because he was ahead of the curve?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he talked to, and he got bitched about, again, he talked to the presidents. He didn't talk to the ADs because they're student athletes.
Yeah.
I'm there to talk to the presidents because they're supposed to be the head honcho.
Yeah.
And what is Michigan State and Michigan's presidents, what were their jobs before becoming president of the university?
They were doctors, infectious, I think.
Ophthalmologists.
Yeah, so, I mean.
They're infectious disease doctors.
Yeah.
You'd think they would know.
I would think I would listen to them, but I mean, you know, whatever. I don't know. If you'd rather listen to your local politicians or federal politicians, then go right ahead. I've got a plumber that'll do your taxes for you. I mean, fuck.
Enjoy that audit.
Yeah, I mean, fucking dummies. So, but yeah. So it's. But these games they've been pretty good. So I'd love to see this season play out, and I'd love to see Toronto and the Clips, and that's my thing. But these series are kind of, as much as we had some underdog action and all that stuff, and it's the same thing with Dallas. They're going to get overtaken at some point, and the whole Portland and playing on 8/24, that is what it is. But Lillard's on a bum wheel now, and it's just attrition. It's going to be a thing, and so I expect the league to kind of level out it's not like the NHL where you have an 8 that gets all the way to the finals, but we did get a little taste of competitiveness there. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. As I get it, I didn't mean to get quiet on you there, but I was reading some text. We have people bitching about wearing masks. They act like they're being forced to wear Nickelback shirts or something.
I'll wear a mask, but you can't pay me to wear a Nickelback.
Oh, that's
shirt.
what I'm saying.
I have no problem wearing a mask when I go.
Yeah, exactly. I wear. I
have several masks.
It's all about priorities, man. I'd much rather. I have to stand for something. Okay. Yes. I have to stand for something, and if see, this is my whole take on the mask thing. It's like at the very least, even if the whole mask thing's wrong, and all that. At least I'm doing it for the right reasons. Right. You know, I'm doing it to protect the people around me and to give everybody a chance at this getting away from this virus. And then, like, you not wearing a mask is, like, the only reason is because you're a selfish prick. So at least even if I'm wrong, I did it for the right reasons. If you're wrong, you're still a selfish prick. If you're right, guess what? You're still a selfish prick. So, like, I don't know what to tell you. So that's my take on the masks. It's that fucking simple. But see, masks and social distancing and all that stuff is not going to happen on campus. It's not going to happen with games. Dude, what do you think the quote-unquote healthy students that are allowed to stay on campus are going to do if you have a fucking game? Are you going to be out policing the tailgate that's going to happen? The insane fucking tailgate that is going to be over the top? Have you been to a college tailgate, Moose? Of course you have. They're fucking crazy. Imagine if you could never go in the building. Imagine if the whole community knew that nobody could go in the building.
Right.
Dude, come the fuck on. You can't... it's gonna get nuts. It's gonna get nuts if you start playing games, even if you think you can... keep these kids safe, which you can't.
Because these
kids,
no,
you can't.
The kids aren't listening. Hey, they think they're invincible. I'm 18, 19 years old. Man, I'm invincible. Nothing can kill me.
Right.
Also, too, an amazing thing on there is Roger Goodell's interview over last weekend. There, with Emmanuel Acho hosts a show called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. And actually, Goodell came off pretty damn good. He actually says, "I was wrong about Kaepernick. I apologize."
Yeah. Oh, he said that. I seen
He's
that
taken.
before.
Yeah,
I saw that before. Yeah. Yep. And the NFL collectively admitted that they didn't.
Yeah,
they
did.
were
But
wrong
he was on there, and they were talking with somebody. Acho was on one of the sports shows and talking. He says, "Dude, he was very open on there."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, he came off very credible." And he goes, yeah, where he had a long interview with it, and he was very open about it. You know, I made mistakes, and I'm gonna.
Well, and that's the whole.
And he
thing.
looks too now as he goes. Now we're at a precipice too. As he looks as the league is like, they're at that point too. We're like, listen, we're gonna back up the. You know, they want to protest, we're going to back it up. Maybe they're at that point too, where they'll go for, hopefully, as these players out there step up, because getting out there for social change.
Yeah,
real change.
Right, tangible change, not
real
just
tangible change, not just I'm going to make change. No, we want to see we want to actually see basically, you know, all the effects of this. We want to actually see something happen out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Tangible, real change whatsoever on it. And again, we'll see what happens on there. And again, Again, you have millionaires, and all you need is, again, a couple owners jump on board. Then you have billionaires out there.
Yep.
And guess what? They've got money.
And it needs to happen. It's long overdue.
You know what? And again, I think it's going to go at an aspect as these guys are going to go out there marching with the protesters. Just like in the 60s, where you had all these sports guys coming out there. You had Jackie Robinson, you had Muhammad Ali, you had Bill Russell, you had Jim Brown, also walking on the various marches for civil rights on there. You had actors and everything. This is the same thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Get out there, go with the masses, walk with them.
Yeah.
Then you're going to basically say, yes, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
I'm backing up. I'm putting my money out there. I'm putting my ass on the line with everybody else out here.
And that's what's going to have to happen. And I think that's the whole thing. That was kind of what I was talking about before, is that domino has fallen, and I think we just kind of got into the tip of the iceberg. The whole thing with this is to not let it fade. can we keep it rolling and whatever. And it's funny because this is kind of how it works. We tend to get comfortable again and kind of forget and get complacent and let stuff kind of slide and go away, and the momentum never really keeps going and gets carried on. And right now, with the way we do things and the way we absorb now, media and how everything's caught on camera, now it seems like it's perpetual, right?
Yes.
Every time, you can't forget it. You can't let your guard down. You can't kind of get lazy because the stuff can't be covered up anymore, and it keeps coming to light. And there's always a
Here it
next
is too on
incident.
there. You're gonna,
Breaking news.
MLS soccer, the 5 matches, all 5 games today are called off because of the protest.
I'm telling you, man, here comes the revolution, dude. I'm telling you, guys, you got to get on it. Like, just absorb it. You've got these TV contracts. You got to provide fucking, content. Provide content. Change what the content's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, this is a real opportunity for this. This is amazing. I want to see anybody in any kind of prominence all over it. I want, and I guess you can turn off your TV. I guess you can turn off your radio. I guess you can ignore what's going on your social media feed, and you can live inside your own bubble. But most people can't do it.
No.
Like, I can look into this camera right now and say, most of the people that are looking at me in the face right now, y'all can't do it. You can't. At some point, you're going to turn on the television. You're going to listen to the radio. You're going to put your phone on. You're going to check out the news. You're going to look at something that you're interested in, and something will be there to remind you. And that has to happen. Well, that has to be that level of uncomfortability that, unfortunately, we're at that level that it's way overdue. And,
Right.
And nothing gets changed. Like I said, if you're not,
now is the time to basically we need to have the uncomfortable, awkward conversations with everybody.
Yep. And I would love to have them. Like, if someone, any of the athletes that we deal with, if you guys are checking out the show, anybody that's, social media influencer that's out there, that's watching the show, all my wrestling friends, my MMA buddies, anybody that wants to speak out and have their voice and have that, we will support that. You can come here on our show and we'll have those conversations. You can come in my studio. We'll have to social distance and wear masks and all that stuff, but you can come here and we can have the face-to-face conversation outside in the back 40. We can stand 8 feet apart with masks on and a microphone in the middle, however you want to do it, separate mics,
Right.
we can hook it up. And we'll go live and have it on there, and we'll be a part of that change. I will sit and have conversations with you. We can put, virtual roundtables together and do stuff here. This doesn't always have to be about just sports, but we can tie it into sports by having you guys that have a voice and have a following to be able to speak up. So as the big boys are going to do it, obviously, you're seeing that through every league. Why not the up-and-comers do it? Why not the indie guys do it? Why not the semi-pros do it? Why not all of us do it? Why not us regular folks do it? So, I think maybe we can kind of do that and still have our conversations about stuff that we like to have. But, there are things that need to be addressed first. So, and there's things that are just more important. And you're living through a point in time where if you're upset and you're frustrated by the things that are more important, then it's a sad state of affairs of where where you're living in your world. I just don't know what to say, and I can't wait to see who else, because it's not done. Like I said, we were talking about golf. Golf needs to pull the trigger, and Tiger needs to come out and say something if he has to, and every sport needs to, and then start doing these social justice parades and specials and protests, and like you said, get with the people and do the groundwork and all that. Make it happen. I would absolutely love to see it. I would support it in any way that we could, whether it be just televising it here on our waves, having somebody call in and talk about it that's got some credible and has a credible opinion and some voice and understanding and knowledge that they can lay on us. Like, we would do that. And we want to talk about sports. We want to goof around and we want to have fun, but like, there's a point in time where you got you've got to stand up for something or you don't stand for shit.
Right.
And that's what's happening right now. And it really needs to be all of us. And so, not just, but it starts with the leaders, the big guns, right? Like I said, you need millionaires to fight millionaires, and you might start getting it.
Right. I mean, yeah, you look out there, and it's basically, I think it definitely is out there with it. I mean, LeBron's finally stepping forward, saying, this is enough.
Yeah, and you see, you need guys like that. Like the voice that he has is amazing. Whether you like LeBron or not, the voice that he's got it's just second to almost nobody. And so he has to lead this charge, and guys like himself have to be confident or cocky about this situation because it needs to happen. I mean, it's, what do you think that all of us, that, all these other races and minorities and people of color are just going to come in and, like, start burning your house down and taking over the world? I mean, what do you think is going to happen by giving them the rights that they deserve? I don't understand what people's irrational fear is and why we have a whole planet full of fucking Karens right now. It is. I don't get it. So, like I said, I hope this does something. And if, if sports and entertainment has to be the sacrifice, then so be it. Now that's hard for a lot of people with mental health kind of things go out. You try to find any way to get away from all this stuff. You're dealing with COVID and loss and illness and job loss and, just an unprecedented time where this country is just so hurting and so damaged. Probably more so than I've ever seen, for sure, than most people that are listening to us could have seen in their lifetime. So it's not going to be easy to get through, but once again, it's got to be. And it's not dying because we just keep having more incidences every day. We have another one.
Oh yeah, thoughts and prayers. No, I'm done with it.
Yeah,
just like the mass shootings. I'm done with those, dude.
Yeah. Well, and thoughts and prayers are, it's almost like saying,
have a nice day.
It's like saying God bless you when someone sneezes.
Right.
It really doesn't fucking mean anything. You know what I mean? No. It's just a word you say. Like people say bless you, and they're not even religious, but they just say the shit because you sneezed,
right? And
it's a reaction, and so they say so. That's what that is. That's all it is. Just
say Gesundheit.
Right. But I mean, it's all the same.
Well, it's German to your health.
I know.
So it's not religious. It just...
Yeah, right. But I mean, it doesn't matter, I guess is my point. It's superficial. Nobody really believes that. They're not really saying it. It's just a reaction.
Oh, yeah. Also, the WNBA's canceled their games, too.
Yeah. It's the same fucking company. We knew that was going to happen.
WNBA.
Yeah, they weren't going to just have the fucking WNBA playing. I mean, duh. So it's just good. Like I said, shut it down. Use the airtime that you be playing these games and putting this stuff on there to fix.
John Wall posted out in Twitter, just in case you forgot, hashtag bigger than basketball, posted out there. We will no longer shut up and dribble.
Good. I can't fucking wait. I'm glad. I hope that they really, really push a movement. I'm behind whatever they do, as long as it's, in the pursuit of what this is all about.
Let's see here. Paul Gasol just posted out there too his quote from the picture of from John Lewis. Never be afraid to make some noise and get into good trouble, necessary trouble.
Yep, and that's what this is going to be about. And it should be. And like I said, my pops would always be like, he always kind of wondered if he'd be around to see the change, and the real change, the tangible change. This stuff that's going on now, he's seen these things before, and there's never been that real tangible change. And I hope he gets to see it. I mean, maybe that's why I'm so motivated. Because, once again, it's easy for a lot of us, especially a lot of us white folks, to just sit back and let it be and not be progressive on this situation and just let it be the way it's always been, and let the system stay in our benefit and those kinds of things. But coming up in a mixed family and having my pops and seeing all that, like the littlest things that we kind of take for granted, he hasn't seen and hasn't had. And so I want this for him. I want this for, my aunts and even my nephew and his kid. He's got a baby now, and it's just like, my nieces and nephews are gonna grow up, and their kids are gonna grow up. And is it gonna be the same? Are they gonna be able to see this change? Are they gonna be able to live in a world that's gonna be, the way it should be? That would be great. That would be awesome. It would be amazing if my nieces and nephews' kids lived in a post-revolutionary world, right, where the system was fixed and they didn't have to deal with that systematic bullshit, and they didn't know that even existed because they never felt it or dealt with it. That would be a godsend on top of my dad just being able to see those changes happen in his lifetime. So I don't know if we're there yet, but this is the craziest as far as like the feeling of like all these things kind of coming and that's how things have to happen, right? It's got to be rapid fire. Everything's got to fall into place, and it's got to hit like that. And this is the first time, and I call it crazy because that's the way it feels. Like it comes in all crazy, like a wily crazy, like a fox, and then it the dust clears and things have changed, and usually for the better. I mean, that's even in life, right? When you're in regular life and things get crazy and it gets all nuts and it goes flying by you and you're trying to deal with it, and it's like, oh my God, and it's crazy, and all of a sudden, poof, it breaks loose and the dust clears, and inevitably, easy for me to say, inevitably, it works out for you, in the end, so to speak, for the most part. And so I hope that's the case with this scenario. So when I see that crazy and everything go, I'm very hopeful that those are the early signs of the change that we really need. So when the dust all does clear, we're in a much better place. And I want that for this country so bad. I've never been so embarrassed by this country, disgusted by the people in it, and just overall, anxiety has never been a thing for me until these last 4 years or so, 3 or 4 years, where it's been getting real bad here. So I can understand, just for me, from being just at a personal, when you get caught up in your own personal bullshit, it's like I just want this so bad too. So on every level, whether it be personal for me, whether it be, family, or for next generations or for past generations, this smoke, this cloud of bullshit's got to come through here, and we got to clear it out and be better on the other side. And I hope we're seeing it happen. However that relates to sports, it really doesn't. It's just a matter of, it's the only, platform, the only thing that we're watching and listening and paying attention to, and it needs to happen. I kind of curious if your sports entertainment, your pro wrestling, if they're going to make a stand, because those guys don't ever stop. The carny never stops moving. So I kind of wonder how they're going to handle it when everybody else is standing up for a movement. Yeah. So same thing with other media. How are they going to handle it? Other, entertainment options, how are they going to handle it? I'd love to see this be transcendent of just sports. Not just sports be the only thing trying to make this thing happen. So we'll see. But, we still have more Republican convention shit, right? So are they going to address it?
Oh, of course not.
So I'm just kind of curious.
They'll go out there and...
Tigers are winning. Tigers are winning.
I know, 6-3.
Nice.
He'll have the kid Rittenball probably speak tomorrow night for the RNC.
I just, and it would be the same thing if they had the DNC going, but I would fully expect them to address the situation and talk about things and shift gears to try to unify, but I'm not sure that I know. I don't know if I'm going to see that from the current RNC. I mean, it just doesn't feel that way. But I am kind of curious if how they address it, if they address it. From a governmental standpoint, does our federal government address the situation? Because this is a shot at them.
Well, again, technically,
Ultimately, this is
federal. When he crosses state lines, it's a federal crime.
Well, I'm not even talking about crimes, Moose. We got to go back to the systematic failure
Yeah,
here.
they're not. This current administration will not speak anything about anything.
But this is the
going on.
problem. That's who you're targeting.
Right. He'll address
So,
he'll
Because the
address-
federal government is why is the
well,
system,
he'll
right?
address his base and he'll get his base riled up, and that's all he'll say.
But that doesn't help.
It doesn't help us.
It's not addressing the systematic.
No,
problem.
he won't. He won't.
So they're
address
just
it.
we're just so the people that you are, okay. So that's gonna be. This is where you're gonna have like these third world countries where they come in and they crash the White House and the government palaces or whatever the fuck they do.
If another country was doing everything that we're doing right now, we invade them.
Right. Well, my whole take is I'm talking from a citizen standpoint. It wasn't that long ago. I can't remember what country it was, but the elections were fucked up, and the whole goddamn country went down to the fucking Capitol building and
That's going on right now in Belarus.
Okay, and so years ago,
It's still going on.
I want to say it happened in like another some European country. I'm not sure.
That's what's going right now in Belarus, and the people that ran against the dictator there. Most of them fled the country, except one's still there fighting marching with the crowd.
So all those things that's happening here. That's going to be here.
This will be here.
Because you're talking about you need to fix a system. So the system is your federal government. It needs that's what they're there for.
Right.
They're there to work for the people.
This is a conversation on there. If somebody wants to talk to me offline, I'll be happy
Right,
to. But I'm
right.
not going to bring it up
not here.
We're going to because on there.
But I mean that's who they're shooting at. So
Right.
that's kind of my point is if you go through all this and the people that you're speaking to and reaching out to and trying to have these conversations with and trying to change, if they're ignoring the situation, they're not addressing it in a proper manner, and they're being like, what is the next move? Like, what do we see next? That's what I'm curious about. Like, once again, not playing games. Just sitting out games and canceling seasons and all that stuff is not what's going to make this change. So I'm kind of curious of what happens. So, and blind faith in government and leaders is going to get people killed. It already has. And probably for hundreds of years. So it's
hundreds of years.
Yes,
Thousands.
right? Since the dawn of man. But yeah, it's one of those things, man. Where like I don't know. It's a lot to absorb, and it's a lot to kind of get your brain around, and not have it like an anxiety attack over. But it's our reality right now, and it's pretty wild, and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna tell a story before we get out of here, and I don't usually. This is kind of a self gloss, and I don't like to do that. And this happened quite a while ago, so I guess it's not like, hey, look, I did a good deed. But every once in a while, I get a bug up my ass, and I feel like doing a good deed besides just treating my fellow humans well, which I like to do. I like to reach out to people that need it and try to be nice, and just a kind word will go a long way sometimes. But so a while back, we're kind of still deep in the COVID thing, but the Floyd thing was brand new. So it was just after
Right.
it was just after the George Floyd scenario. Like literally, we are fresh on the Lloyd thing. So I am driving down the service drive of 696. And I've got, we're on our way to pick up my fiance's vehicle from getting repaired, and I've got her and her son in my pickup truck. So we're shoulder to shoulder in there. And, we're all pasty white folks. And so I'm coming down the service drive, and I notice that there is four African American men trying to push a Jeep up onto a trailer. They got the hazards on. Obviously, the vehicle died, and they're trying to get that thing out of the street. And people are just flying by them, like not even being considerate and slowing down and moving. And I'm like, this is not a safe situation. So I'm on the far left getting ready to get on the freeway because this is a service drive, and they're all the way on the right, trying to stay out of the way. And I just peel over 3 lanes, and I put my car crooked up on the curb and cover their lane and put my butt out in the other lane, forcing people to go wide because they're not giving these guys the space they need. And so that alone freaked them out because it's 4 black dudes and this white guy in a pickup truck rolls up and I just fly over and like a bat out of Hades and jump up there and park the fucking truck. And they all looked at me with like, oh, fuck, right? They had the oh, shit look on their face. And I ran up to the Jeep and started pushing. And they all kind of looked at me. And then we all tried to push this Jeep up the fucking ramp. And we're like doing this little rock and try to get it rolling up there. And to get right up to the top, and there's a little lip there. And even with a couple of the guys being real big, we just couldn't get it up over that lip. And I go, all right. I go, fuck it. I go, let it back down. I go, let it off the hump and hold it on the brake. Tell the guy that there's a guy in there because he's, to hold the brake. So we get it right there just before the hump. I want a little momentum. So I just get in my truck and I put the bumper on his bumper. And they're like, one of the guys looked at me because you're going to get your truck, aren't you? I go, oh yeah. I got my truck and I pushed that thing up there with my truck. It messed up my front plate and all that, my little Tiger's plate. And the guys were like, they were all like, they couldn't believe what they just saw. They're like, what just happened here? And one guy tried to give me money. And I'm like, dude, keep your fucking money. I'm just glad I just want to get you guys off the road, Right. It's safer if you're not sitting here on the side of the highway. And they're like, oh, man, thanks a lot. I'm like, dude, if we don't look out for each other, what do we got, man? Right. I'm like, this is it, man. I'm like, I'm like, I don't need nothing. He's like, just glad you guys are safe. And they went from, oh, my God, is this guy going to shoot me in the face? Like, they did. They had that honest to God, like, what is this fucking guy doing? To, I can't believe this guy helped me out. And didn't take the money. It was cool, and and our interaction was good, and it was, you got the COVID thing, you got the George Floyd thing. It was an obvious racial difference there between us, and I didn't bat an eye, didn't think twice, just pulled the trigger on it and made the only decision that you make. Right. Nobody else was stopping to help him, of course, but I had to do that, and it didn't dawn on me, and of course I didn't tell this story to gloss about, oh, I helped these guys out and look what I did, whoop-de-woo, I'm trying to be part of the solution. That's not what this is. What I'm trying to say is, it wasn't until we got the vehicle, got home, and I kind of sat back and thought about their reaction, because I told you, like, they had that look in their eyes, and it changed when I was helping. And it changed when we left, and right. We were like, hey, we didn't high five or anything because of the COVID situation, but we were like fucking elbow bumping and putting the fist, I'm like, no problem, but we were trying to, everybody's trying to be safe. We didn't know each other. And so, but those reactions, their reaction to what I did, both in the first, like, whoa, what's this guy doing? And it really, it kind of made me cry a little bit inside. Like, I just felt like 1,000,001 emotions, like sad that would be their reaction. Not that they react that way, but that's the situation that they've lived with, and they've been conditioned for that reaction. And then how it changed, and then what they, and all that stuff. And it's like, and then the reaction, the fact that nobody else did anything to even attempt to help these guys out. And primarily, let's be realistic, it was over here in Macomb County in Warren, and this is a red city, and it is predominantly white middle class, nobody did anything. And so I just helped the cat out, and I would help anybody out that was in the road like that if I could do something, and they obviously needed help and were struggling, and it didn't matter what they looked like. And so, but it wasn't that, like I said, I'm not here to self-gloss, and it had nothing to do with any of that. It was more poignant to me the way they reacted, and because of the way they've been conditioned. That was it hurt to see that our country's in that kind of state. And it's like something that I don't think anybody would even think about, like, is that what crosses your mind when you see stuff like that? So, I don't know. It sucks. It sucks. It pisses me off, to no end that is even how it is. And so, those are going to be the moments and stuff, the things that I will reflect on and try to better myself with, and understand that, like, that's poignant shit right there. If you think about it, it's probably a little too deep, but if we don't get that kind of deep thought, and this process is not going to get fixed, things are not going to change. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. When common courtesy, common decency, and common sense are not common, this is the things that happen. And that's all I did. I didn't do anything special. I'm not a fucking hero. I'm not some fucking wonderful guy. I'm not even a good Samaritan. I'm just a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm just another human being, just like those 4 guys trying to push that motherfucking truck
Just
up.
trying to get day by day.
And it's like, so yeah, and they were even surprised by my comment of, dude, if we don't look out for each other, we ain't got nothing, brother. Have a great day. And they were all jaws on the floor. And that reaction, though I'm glad that they were, they felt good they had a good interaction with me and all that, but it's just the fact that is even, it's just sad and upsetting. So more of these conversations are going to have to be had, and I don't know what that means for sports. So I hope you guys, we didn't kill you with all this this other stuff. Anything you want to kind of add before we get to closing?
No. I mean,
I think that's that.
You said it all. I mean, again, we got unless we're sticking together, then we're all failed.
Right.
We're all screwed.
So I hope that's what we're seeing.
Good news is Tigers are up 7-3. They're going to win. It looks like they may win their second series in a row.
Nice. They're not quite 500, but we'll take the victories that we've been getting.
Cabrera's 3 for 4 tonight, so he's above the Mendoza line. Hallelujah.
Of what? 102. The guy can't fucking.
He's hitting 219 now, so he's up to over 200. But he's again.
When Miggy turned into the new Maglio, it's like it's just time to figure something out.
Yeah, but we're on the hook for 3 more years.
I know, it's so brutal.
Maybe you'll get his 3,000. Just let him get his 3,000 hits and his 500th home run next year.
Yeah, and then
figure a way just to buy
try
him
to whatever. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see on there. It's again. We'll see what happens here over the weekend. And again, we're going to get through it together.
Yes,
that's the only way we can do it.
That's the only way we're going to do it. Absolutely.
If we don't get together, we're going to fail alone.
Hey, guys, if you want, it's super simple, man. If you want things to go back to normal, you want to have the good jobs, you want to have the things that have been all your American dreams, right? All those things that you are striving for. Understand that you can have all that back. We can have our sports. We can have this stuff, regardless of Corona, regardless of this, of the political and the social and all that stuff. You know how we get it all back? Sticking together. Unifying against a common goal. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, if for no other reason. Yes. So do this, my friend. Do that. Unify. The enemy of the enemy is my friend. Whatever you got to do, but let's all do it together, and we'll get through it. We'll come out the other side even better than we ever was. So y'all can do it. I got faith in you. We love you guys. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll have some sports stuff.
I'll talk about my fantasy team.
Oh, there you go. Wonderful. Everybody
I'll
wants
bore
to
you.
hear that.
Crickets going on there.
Awesome.
Meantime, peace out, brothers.
Love you guys. See ya.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.